up, guys? This is Sabrina Cardone, and on this season of The Hustle, we're hitting the road to find America's next generation of young entrepreneurs.
I wanted to pursue the career and do what I love and what I have a passion for.
And this is it, my second home.
This is amazing!
I started having fun doing it and making good money. I decided that I should turn it into a business.
From Las Vegas to New York, North Carolina to Texas, I'm meeting young innovators who are turning their passions into profits.
Say I want to make $30 an hour.
I ended up profiting about $30,000.
We are on track to do upwards of $1 million this year.
It's an all-new season of The Hustle, and trust me, you won't want to miss a second.
I don't like to think of it as work. I like to think of it as a hobby that I have fun with.
Take the jump and put yourself out there to starting whatever business you want to start.
Subscribe now at PragerU.com and follow along, and I'll see you there!
Starting off positive today. Yes, very positive today. That's the type of thing that our kids should be watching. That's a little tease of our new season of The Hustle with our brand new host, Sabrina Cardone. Hi, Sabrina. Much love and thank you to you for the wonderful job that you did hosting the new series. Real stories and experiences from young entrepreneurs. Share The Hustle with your kids. Get inspired yourself. I know I do. Welcome to Parent Alert by PragerU Kids. Today's Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. I'm Jill Simonian. I'm a mom of teens and the co-creator of PragerU Kids here. And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X. Did I miss anything? My group. That's it. We're live in a lot of places. So if you're watching live, we thank you and we want you to drop a comment where you're watching live from. We cannot ignore the big headlines today from California. And yes, the headline for today's Parent Alert Live is, will a transgender teen steal the California state finals for track and field? I don't know if any of you have heard of this story yet, but we're going to get into it. Basically what happened is a transgender female athlete who is a biological male has in the past few weeks swept the California Interscholastic Federation's track and field finals in the girls category. And the story has gone viral across the country. More and more people are starting to learn about this story that began developing a few weeks ago. We're going to be summing it up here, giving you the updates. I'm going to be giving a little bit of insight about how I interpret this as a mom, what I think it's going to mean for everyone across the country. And then near the end of this show, I'm going to be sharing with you some really good news from Texas that I think a lot of you are going to be happy about. So we've got opposite headlines today. Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from live. If you haven't already, I am happily obligated to say subscribe for free, PragerUkids.com. Wholesome videos, lessons that teach our kids kindergarten through 12, knowledge, life skills, history, good character, financial literacy, and more. The Hustle is just one of those wonderful series that we create here in-house for positive education for our kids. All of our resources on our website, PragerUkids.com, are free. We've also got a ton of faith-based content, tons of content about good character, grit, resilience, and of course our big new resource that we just launched for resilience, Trailblazers of America. This is my friends back there in the production booth. This is the big book that I myself ordered and paid for and got delivered to my house. Okay, so that's how much I love this new Trailblazers series that we have for PragerU Kids. Okay, should we get to the big headline? Yes? Yes, they're nodding. I want y'all to holler back there. Yay, can you hear them? Okay. Here's the big story. Listen, I'm laughing and I'm having a good time with you guys, parent to parent. But this is a big, serious story that's really grown legs, if you will. Pun intended, I guess, because it is about track and field. Here's the big story about the California State Girls Track Meet. The CIF, California Interscholastic Federation. Here's what's been happening in California, particularly Southern California. I'm going to give you a little bit of background. Well, we know for the past several months, California Governor Newsom has continued to allow biological boys to compete in girls' sports across high schools, despite a previous executive order from President Trump instructing otherwise. We know this, right? I do want to say, too, because we are sticklers for knowing civics around here, and anyone else who's a stickler for knowing civics, if you're watching, drop a comment. I do want to recognize that under the U.S. and California constitutions, state and local officials and individuals are not subject to orders of the president, who can generally only issue orders to agencies and members of the federal government's executive branch. Nevertheless, we've had an executive order from Trump, which was an elected mandate by the United States people of, the people of the United States, saying that we want to keep girls' sports for biological girls. We want to keep boys' sports for biological boys. This, of course, relevant to college and, of course, relevant to high schools. So in the last few weeks in California, at girls' track meets, the Southern California finals in track and field, there were two young women who were top elite competitors, athletes in their divisions in track and field. One of the girls' names is Reese Hogan. If you followed this story, please weigh in. Reese Hogan is one of the girls. She's been doing track since her freshman year. She's a junior now. She's been dedicated in her training. For the past year, she's been on her way to winning the regional final, the thing that she has worked so hard for. She has set school records. She has, had personal bests at finals. She won second in the triple jump just a few days ago. The person who won first goes by the name A.B. Hernandez, who was a junior and a transgender girl, meaning that this person is a biological boy. A.B. Hernandez won this track and field meet by 4 feet. So Reese Hogan, who was I'm just going to say reigning champion in all of Southern California, gets beat by a biological boy by 4 feet. That's insane. This person, A.B. Hernandez, attends Urupa Valley High School, which is an important fun fact, which I'm going to tackle later. But remember this, Urupa Valley High School. So CIF, the California Interscholastic Federation, allowed him to stand in the first place slot during, after this competition, after he was deemed the winner. Everybody cheered in the stands, allegedly. After AB stepped down, Reese, the high school junior girl, stepped up to the top post of the first place platform and took her picture after he left, as she was the actual winner, being a biological girl in the girls category. This has gone viral these last few weeks. You had to have been, living under a rock. If you're a parent, if you have kids in high school sports or any sports for that matter, you had to have been living under a rock in California to not hear about what's going on here. And it's now spread to the story's now spread to the rest of the country. So A.B. Hernandez also won. It wasn't just this one thing. A.B. Hernandez also won a long jump title from a young lady by the name of Katie McGinnis, whose long jump was 18 feet, 9.5 inches. She jumped further than any other girl in her division. She's, again, an elite athlete, has been training for this her entire life. She came in, with quotation marks, I say second. Katie has the longest jump in California against all girls. She trained for 4 years plus. She's broken school records. Full transparency, I will say this on the record. These two young women that I am talking about, Katie McGinnis and Reese Hogan, who have been in the news, I actually know one of these girls' families personally. So I have to say that for full transparency. My background in TV news, obligates me to say things and make things transparent to you. I know one of these girls' families personally. So this is something that I have heard about not only as a, viewer and consumer of the news media, but also on a very personal level in my circle of friends. This is devastating. I want right now, just to sum up the background for you, I want to go to a news hit from foxnews.com where Katie McGinnis appeared last week, I believe, and I just want you to hear a little bit about what she shares with her story. Jace, let's go ahead and run it if we can, if we have that video pulled up.
Welcome to you, and please do tell us what happened in this race and what is this like for you? Yeah, and thank you so much for having me today, Sandra. It's really such an honor to be here. And I also just want to preface by saying I have nothing against this athlete as a person, and I have nothing against the trans community. My message today is really specifically to CIF, and for them to act quickly and in a timely manner, because this is a very time-sensitive issue, and girls every day are losing their spot due to biological boys beating out biological girls. And to go back to your question, I tried to keep my focus last Saturday and kind of treat it like any other normal meet. However, on my third jump, I watched AB do their jump, and the numbers on the screen lit up to 19 feet 2 inches, which was the furthest mark of that day. And I just remember thinking to myself, okay, I need to get a big jump. And so normally something typical that
Can we pause right here, Jace?
Is they start.
Okay, so if you heard Katie say what AB's jump length was, she said 19 something, right? And her long jump of the day was 18 feet. So he outjumped her by a total foot. Mind you, Katie has been a champion, winning every single, I guess, I don't know what the correct, every meet. Is that how you say it? I don't have, my kids are not in sports. Every meet, thank you, Jay. Katie has been the champion for every single meet that she has competed in, and now all of a sudden she gets to the finals and she's out jumped miraculously, by someone by over a foot. So let's continue.
A clapping sequence, kind of to gain momentum from the crowd and kind of feel the rhythm of the jump. And so I did that, and I ran down the runway, and I landed, and I watched them measure my mark, and it was 18.9. And I just remember thinking that there was nothing else that I could do, that was it. And I was honestly very discouraged. And, you know, I'm a high school senior, and, you know, winning CIF has always been a goal of mine. And I wasn't able to compete with someone who is genetically different than me.
Okay, thanks. That's good. That's good. So I wanted you to hear that. It was a long little soundbite, but I wanted you to hear that. First of all, Katie, we commend you. Any reasonable person will commend you at the way you handled yourself. I think any reasonable person can see that this is a girl, with resilience, with the capability to, to forge ahead no matter what is stacked against her, to forge through when there is a wrongdoing. And these are the type of qualities that most elite athletes embody. This is the type of perspective, she's talking about, I just did my best. I've worked my whole life for this. I knew that I couldn't do anything more because the plain and simple fact is that my body is built differently. Her body is built differently. She is a female. Females cannot compete against males. Again, this is something that is, very common sense. Biology does matter. This is not, for the people, and I have been informed that, there's been a lot of hate wielded at these young women who were placed in the second place category despite them being the first place achievers in their female category. This is not hate for transgender people. We have to learn how to avoid situations that treat women unfairly. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just a mom. But as reasonable people, as parents, we got to look at this and say, okay, is this fair? We know that there's physical dangers of pitting biological boys against biological girls in sports situations. The last few years, we've seen injuries in basketball, volleyball, incidents in recent years across the country. It's dangerous for teen girls. It's dangerous for women. And when something is unfair, that's also dangerous in a different way. It's dangerous for the future of our communities and country, because if there is no objective truth, where does that leave any of us with anything? Removing merit is also a very dangerous thing. So now, cut to now. That was the background. I wanted you to see Katie. I wanted you to get to the background. Now, if you didn't know the story before, now CIF, as of yesterday, has issued some new rules all of a sudden to try and fix things. And ultimately, these new rules, the way I see it and the way many other people see this, is to sort of try and straddle to pacify both sides ahead of this weekend's CIF finals happening in Clovis, California. I might add added irony in this. Clovis Unified School District is one of the few non-unionized school districts in California that is reasonable, that is dedicated to merit, that is dedicated to excellence and achievement. And the fact that this championship is taking place in Clovis Unified School District, it's like I say, you can't write this stuff. This is Clovis Unified School District, from my experience and understanding, does not tolerate circumstances that do not honor truth and merit. So this is going to be real interesting. So now we're here. Let's go to the article from Associated Press that details where we're at now with this whole story that's been developing over the past couple weeks. The title here, you can read it if you're watching live: California opens track and field finals to more girls after success of trans athlete. So the governing board for California high school sports is changing its competition rules at this weekend's state track and field championships in Clovis, California, to allow more girls to take part amid controversy over the participation of a trans student athlete. So it's interesting to me because in this lead paragraph written by the Associated Press, and I did choose this article on purpose because look at the way they phrase this, amid controversy over the participation. No. There's not controversy over the participation of a trans student. Every single person, child, adult, deserves dignity. I have said that for years and years and years, and I'll continue to say it. We are all people. Everyone deserves dignity. However, the controversy is not over the participation. The controversy is over the fact that a biological boy has won a competition over girls in the girl category. That's what the controversy is about. So the California Interscholastic Federation said it was extending access for more biological female athletes to participate in the championship meet. The group announced the change Tuesday after President Donald Trump posted on his social media site about the participation of a trans athlete in the competition. Let's go ahead and see. It details what the new rules are in this AP article, but if we're able, Jace, I want to go ahead and flip to CIF's Instagram image. Yes, I love going to the source, and I do this on purpose because I want all of us who dive into these stories to always get in the habit of going to the source. Don't take the AP's word for, don't take any media organization's word, mine included. I'll say that. Always go to the source. Trust but verify, right? So we're at the Instagram of CIF State, and let's see what their statement is. The CIF values all of our student athletes, and we will continue to uphold our mission of providing students with the opportunity to belong, connect, and compete while complying with California law and education code. With this in mind, the CIF will be implementing a pilot entry process for the 2025 CIF State Track and Field Championships. Under this pilot entry process, any biological female student athlete who would have earned the next qualifying mark for one of their section's automatic qualifying entries in the CIF state meet and did not achieve the CIF state at-large mark in the finals at their section meet was extended an opportunity to participate in the 2025 CIF State Track and Field Championships. The CIF believes this pilot entry process achieves the participation opportunities we seek to afford our student athletes. What? Pilot entry process. They say it, 1, 2, at least 3 times. Pilot entry process. CIF here basically tried to satisfy two sides, citing participation opportunities when this is when everyone gets a trophy does harm. This is when everyone gets a trophy, the everyone gets a trophy mentality that we've all been conditioned to accept. It's okay that everyone gets a trophy. It's inclusive that everyone gets a trophy. This is when that mentality actually harms the achievements of athletes. In this case, female athletes who have sacrificed, and I'm going to guess busted their butts to achieve their dreams of winning the CIF state championship. So basically, the CIF is saying, hey, girls, the ones who really won, we're going to invite you to participate at the state finals that you should actually be competing at anyways. But we're still going to allow this biological boy, A.B. Hernandez, to compete so that you're going to come compete again against him. And what do you think's going to happen? He's still going to win the state championships because he already beat them because of biological differences. How does this make sense? How is this inclusive for anybody? It's also a direct violation of Title IX, which is to protect women's sports. Now we're seeing, CIF is saying now that girls need pilot programs. We're going backwards. This is backwards. You want to talk about taking away rights? That's a buzzword phrase. The past, our rights are getting taken away. Let's look objectively at whose rights are being taken away in real time, in practical settings, in real life experience. This is what happens when inclusion, that word inclusion, is twisted and blended up in the blender 14 times through DEI programs. Include at all costs, include at the cost of awarding merit, include at the cost of abandoning what's real and what's pretend. This is when that word inclusion leads all of us sideways and conditions our kids to fail to understand that there is real and there is pretend, that there is truth and there are lies. We're abandoning what's actually true. And I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't know of a society that can function properly if you don't know what's true. Is that dark? I don't know. It also doesn't include those with religious beliefs. I've talked about this before. It doesn't include those who believe in merit. It lowers the standards for all of us. Theft of accomplishment and winning is not okay. You're squashing the drive, you're squashing the commitment, you're squashing the dedication, you're squashing the good character qualities that elite athletes work their entire lives to obtain. And it's serious. We're not just talking about a high school track meet, we're talking about, the functioning of a healthy society. And whatever happened to virtue? Cheating doesn't matter? Doesn't matter if you cheat anymore. Who cares? Inclusion. Be kind, right? So at the beginning of this, I wanted you to remember what high school A.B. Hernandez is from. 100 points if you can drop the high school in the comments if you're watching live. A.B. Hernandez is from Yoruba Valley High School. And the irony with this story is that A.B. Hernandez is from the same school district as the California PE teacher who was fired a few years ago for telling her administrators that she would not allow boys to change in her girls' locker room should the situation come up. That's Jessica Tapia, who I interviewed on Parent Alert last year. A few years ago. He was either 2022 or 2023. I'm mistaken. You can trust but verify. Fact check me. But Jessica Tapia was fired from Yoruba School District because she said, I refuse to put girls at risk. I refuse to put their locker rooms. I refuse to allow boys to change in their locker rooms. And all of this is happening. She was fired by her school district, but guess what? She raised a lawsuit. She was awarded. So she actually was certified as being truthful in what she was doing. All of this craziness is happening under what is a California law called the School Success and Opportunity Act, AB 1266. And here's what it is. It's a California state law that ensures transgender students in public schools are treated with dignity and respect. I agree with treating everyone with dignity and respect. Allowing them to participate fully in school activities. They should be able to participate fully in school activities. I agree. Programs and facilities that align with their gender identity. That's the misguided point. That's the misguided point. What's that phrase? When law becomes tyranny, resistance becomes duty. So this has all been happening in California. And this is what comes from DEI initiatives that went into effect many years ago, several years ago in most California school districts. Meanwhile, most students in California still can't read. I should say, before I go on to my next point here, I should say I wish the athletes for this weekend in competing in Clovis, California at the CIF finals, I pray that you have strength. I pray that you have conviction. I pray that you have fortitude. I pray that you are able to do your absolute very best no matter what is presented to you. And know that through your experience, this unfortunate experience that you're going through, and through your story, you are really lending to the greater cause of opening more and more people's eyes and giving them the clarity to understand what is actually happening in our schools and how these DEI initiatives and these new laws that were passed in very misguided ways, especially here in California, you're opening people's eyes. And we stand with you very peacefully, with solidarity, so that you can do your best and so that more and more people can hopefully speak up against this and put pressure on organizations that are robbing you of your achievements that you've worked so hard for. It's not fair to girls. I'm a mom of daughters. It's not fair to girls. It's not fair to boys either. It's not fair to the parents. It's not fair to the teachers. And it's not fair to the students who have come to recognize themselves as being what they call transgender. It's not fair to them either. It's not fair to everybody. Everybody loses here in the long run. So we'll find out what's going to happen in Clovis, California this weekend. Keep me posted if you're going. Meanwhile, as I was saying, most students in California still can't read. With all of these laws and directives being passed under a false veil of inclusion and diversity and all of these things, the bottom line is that students in California still can't read. California students rank in the bottom third for reading. Let's take a quick look at the National Assessment of Educational Progress report from 2024. Where are our priorities in California? Not on reading. For fourth graders, we have a score of 212 out of 500. That's the bottom third. If you can scroll down, I think it shows, if you can scroll down, look at all the states that come before California. The fifth largest economy superpower in the world of California, and the bottom third in reading across the nation. I'm embarrassed. Let's look at the eighth grade. The eighth grade, Little bit of improvement, but not much better. Score of 254 out of 500, again, for the NAEP National Assessment of Educational Progress Report for 2024. Still in the bottom third of the nation, California. California's priorities are not delivering educated and informed citizens for the future of our nation. But inclusion, based on changing the rules and changing the goalposts and changing all the things that require hard work and merit. And if all of this is about inclusion, then why isn't everyone's experience included? I doubt anyone's, California officials don't seem to be worried about Reese Hogan or Katie McGinnis's inclusion. I don't know. Try putting a Bible in a classroom. That's not going to be included here in California. And we know that the governor himself, Governor Gavin Newsom, has stated frequently, California aims to be the model for the nation. What begins in California spreads to the rest of the nation. Anyone watching from across the country, I know it's easy to look at California and say, oh yeah, those nets in California, yeah, they're wacko. Not on our watch, not us. Wake up, be aware, be alert. What happens in California, unfortunately, tends to be a model for the nation. And it ain't good. So like I said, try putting a Bible in a California classroom. That will not be met with inclusion. I would bet my life on it. But Texas's new law, and here's the good news that I teased at the very top of this, Texas's new law is poised to put Bibles back in the classroom. So Texas is, in fact, defying the odds and the trajectory of California leading the nation, so to speak. Texas, God bless Texas. Key vote. This is from usatoday.com. Key vote moves Texas closer to displaying the 10 Commandments in public schools. Texas House of Representatives advanced a bill requiring all public schools in the state to display the 10 Commandments in the classroom, the latest effort by conservative-led states to integrate religion into public education. Hold on, USA Today. Again, the first paragraph. I go to these articles on purpose for you guys. The first paragraph, to integrate religion. Pause. Our Bible, historically speaking, was the foundation for this country, factually speaking, whether or not you happen to like it. The Bible, our Judeo-Christian values, are historically foundational to America. Putting the Bible back in the classroom does not necessarily mean that teachers are going to be converting all children to Christianity. As a Christian, I just say that very frankly. That's not what this means. Having a Bible available, you talk about book banning, having a Bible, there's a difference between proselytizing and educating. There's a difference. And having a Bible with the 10 Commandments, a moral code that would help solve many behavior problems in the classroom, by the way, should not be vilified. I personally know atheists who say, yeah, so what? Put the Bible in the classroom. What's the big deal? Who are the book banners now? It's not a violation of church and state. Bibles began our public schools. Bibles were removed in the 1960s from public schools by what I understand historically, what could have been a misguided Supreme Court. Do we think courts can be misguided? These days, sure, absolutely. There are legislators who are misguided. There are countless leaders who are misguided. There are courts, there are judges who are misguided. Why is it so hard to acknowledge that perhaps the Supreme Court that took the Bible out of schools in the 60s was misguided? Why is it hard to acknowledge that that perhaps was a mistake? Since the Bible was removed, now correlation does not equal causation, but since the Bible was removed from classrooms in the 1960s, behavior problems have skyrocketed. Children are not respectful of each other and their surroundings. They're not as educated. They're confused. I would argue more confused. That's accelerated, of course, with, the iPhone and screens, but that's another conversation for another Parent Alert. The Bible offers students, from a historical perspective, grit, courage, resilience, perseverance. The Bible can be included to have contributed to the building of America. It's history. Don't we want our kids to know history? Stop erasing history. Everyone always shouts, yes, stop erasing history. I agree. So yay for Texas. We're out of time. Should I read some comments? Oh, let's see if I can get to the Facebook. How's everyone? I go to Facebook because it's easiest for me to read comments on Facebook. If you're watching from YouTube, we appreciate you. If you're watching on X, I appreciate you. Let me see what I can find here. I'm on the Facebook page. Excuse me. Need a drink of water. Where are we at, gang? Are we live on Facebook? Oh, here we are. Let's see if I can read any of the comments. Okay. Glenn, there's still a Bible Belt. Thank God for that. God bless you. I'm reading these comments at random, so you know, as they come up in my scroll. California and Washington State are both in debt and raising taxes. How is the fourth largest economy in the world, California, in debt? Okay, Glenn, that's another issue, but thank you. Who's this? From Bob. The Bible has been allowed in classrooms for decades. The Supreme Court clarified that years ago that it could be used for education. Okay, hey, the more you know. Oops, I keep clicking off on my comments. This is why you don't want the host doing technical things. Hold on, guys. Let me see. More comments. From William, the Department of Education has been a massive failure. $268 billion down the drain for significantly worse score results nationwide. Leave it to the states. William, I don't disagree. Bob says Texas is poison. You almost got it right. Bob, I may not agree with what you have to say, but I will always defend your ability to say it. God bless our First Amendment. All right. From William, the Bible is vital, even from a secular, non-religious standpoint. It's historically monumental for our country's foundation. That's from William. Thank you for that, William. All right, so weigh in with your comments. Tell me if any of you watching or listening might be involved or are paying attention to the California Interscholastic Federation's track and field finals that are happening this upcoming weekend, the weekend of May 31st and June 1st, 2025 in Clovis, California. I want to know if you'll be there. I want to know your thoughts on the story that we tackled about the two elite athletes, young women, who outjumped and outran all of their competitors, but were placed second because they were forced to compete against A.B. Hernandez, a biological male. Tell me what you think. We always want to know at Parent Alert, and we always want to share with you the resources to help build grit and resilience and perseverance. If you have not checked out our new Trailblazers of America series, book series, to keep kids reading, especially here in California, keep your kids reading because Many of the public schools aren't doing it to satisfactory results. Trailblazers of America, Heroes of the Frontier. This is the big coffee table book, as I like to call it, to put on your coffee table and in your home so that your kids get curious and pick this up and start reading about Davy Crockett and Daniel Boone and Bass Reeves and Johnny Appleseed this summer and learn about the building of America. These were the heroes. These were the men, the trailblazers, who, yes, were in fact guided by our Judeo-Christian values, by the Bible that Texas is poised to return to its classrooms. Pick up Trailblazers of America. It's on Amazon. I've dropped the links in the description, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or X. I've dropped the links to where you can get our PragerU Kids content. So we hope that you check us out, subscribe for free, get all updates and new kids content in your inbox. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate your generous donations because we cannot create any of our kindergarten through 12th grade material without the support of you. And we thank you for being alert and awake and involved in your children's education. And just like I said near the beginning of this, California, what happens in California doesn't always stay in California, on a very unfortunate note. But be awake, be alert, and be brave. Don't be afraid to defend America. Don't be afraid to defend what true equality means, what true fairness means. Don't be afraid to defend merit and achievement, because those are the foundations that we're built on, and that's how America will endure. So with that, I'll say goodbye. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thank you.